In this video, I'm going to be buying Section 8 rental properties in Cincinnati, Ohio. In the last 10 years, I bought over 650 rental properties, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I find, analyze, and purchase rental properties on Section 8 completely virtually from my laptop. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that I do is I go to Zillow, and we're just going to type in here, Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's pull this up, and I'll show you. I've been investing in Cincinnati for probably the last 4 years, and I'm going to show you exactly where I like to invest in Cincinnati, okay? So first, let's remove the boundary. That gives us 2,600 listings. Now, most of these houses that are going to work for Section 8 are going to be below $150,000. Let's just do 3-bedroom, 1 baths. Oof, we only got 49 listings, okay? So this is going to be a tougher market to kind of get into. If you've watched some of my other videos about investing in these markets, this is going to be a tougher market to get into because the purchase prices are $150,000. Most of these other markets that I invest in the Midwest, we can get into deals for 70, 80, 90, $100,000, but this is a very little amount of listings. Some of the other markets we would have still like 1,000 listings. And look, below $100,000, we only got 16 results, which just tells me just firsthand that these 16 results are going to need a lot of work and need a lot of renovations. So Cincinnati is probably a good market if you have maybe more closer to like the $50,000 range of money to invest in. However, I do really love the Cincinnati market. It's a great market to invest in. There isn't that many like rough neighborhoods or rough parts of town that I would recommend staying away from. So just keep that in mind when you are looking at Cincinnati. Okay, so let's go back to 150. That gives us a good amount of listings. Now, this is Cincinnati downtown. Amazing downtown, super walkable. There's lots of stuff going on up here near this park and this park. There's like a ton of great restaurants, hipster spots to kind of hang out and eat. And then along the Riverwalk too, that place is super nice to walk around. And you can see close to downtown, we have a good amount of listings available for sale, which is fantastic. Let's start going through some of these. Let's try my, let's just add single family houses only. Let's add my little favorite keyword of Section 8 down here. So nothing in Cincinnati with a Section 8 keyword. Okay, so that means that there's probably not anything currently occupied with Section 8 tenants. If you watch some of my other videos, typically I will go in there and add in a little Section 8 keyword down here, and that's going to help me pinpoint properties that may already have Section 8 tenants, and I can just purchase the property, walk into a turnkey rental that's been, has a Section 8 tenant in place, has a tenant in place paying rent every single month. But when we add that here, that doesn't really bring up much, okay? So in order to actually figure out what these properties are going to rent out for, I want you to go to huduser.gov. You're going to find this. We'll go to Ohio, and then we can do like Cincinnati, Ohio, county. So Hamilton County. Go to Hamilton County, next screen. Okay, so this is going to give us a bunch of zip codes, and this is going to tell us what the Section 8 department is going to pay us in rent depending on that zip code. Okay, so now we can go and find any kind of property. We want something to be like renovated, and we want something not on the Kentucky side. We want something on the Ohio side. Okay, so we got something for 125. Looks nice. Let's open that up. That looks nice too. That looks nice too. Let's open up these three and see what we got. So we got Borden Street in Cincinnati, 125. Come put the finishing touches on this project. Okay, so that means it needs some work. Let's see what they mean. Oh yeah, the floor is all, okay, yeah, the renovation's almost done. Looks like they ran out of money. Probably needs new HVAC, new hot water tank, exterior doors, interior doors, paint. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is analyze this deal. So we're gonna analyze this deal on Borden. So what we do is we take the address, go to app.flipsystem.com. On this app, you can go ahead and just use the calculator. So it's just a free calculator you can come in and use to analyze these deals. Put the address in here, boom. Then we can go to the analysis. Let's go ahead and put all in the numbers. So 125K, we'll change this to be a buy and hold. So we're gonna buy it for 125. Let's say the renovations are gonna be like $12,000 to finish it off. Taxes, $2,500. Insurance, $1,000. Current rent is 0. Now we have to figure 45223. Let's take that and go here. 45223, 3-bedroom is $14.90 per month. Okay. So that's what we can get. Maximum rent is $14.90 per month. But typically, Section 8 is going to pay you like 70% of that. So we can only rent out this property for 1043 all the way up to 1192. Okay. So you want to take that fair market rent. That's the maximum, absolute bloody maximum that the Section 8 department will pay you for rent. Okay. We want to take that number. Typically, you're going to get the property rent out for 70 to 80% of that figure. So we're looking at like around $1,100 in rent. Okay. And for buying a property for 125, I already know, because I've done this a million times, the property's not going to cash flow very well. It's not going to be a good deal. Let's just go ahead and save this so I can show you. So we're buying it for 125. Oops. Buy and hold. We're buying it for 125. Closing costs $1,500. We're going to repair it, clean it up for $12,000. Annual taxes of $2,500. Annual insurance of $1,000. This is just like off the top of my head around what the insurance is going to be. Current rent is $0. Market rent is $1,100, right? And that's renting it out on Section 8. Okay. Then we have vacancy, property management, financing, right? 7% interest rate, 2 points, loan fees, and down payment. Okay. So this is kind of what the deal looks like financially. We got our rent minus taxes, insurance, property management, vacancy, maintenance, and debt service. So we're losing money every single month. So we got to do something about this deal to make it work. We got two options. One, increase the rent. Two, reduce the price. Those are literally the two options that we have. What I like to do is take the address, plug it into Rent-A-Meter, and let's see. I know you're watching this video because you want to do Section 8, and Section 8 is great, but sometimes it doesn't work on deals. So let's go and find out which markets. Look at that. Okay, so if we were to rent this Rent-A-Meter, what this Rent-A-Meter website does, it looks at recently rented out properties in and around your property and your address. Okay, Northside's a great neighborhood. That's why I wanted to look it up to see if we could rent it out just on a cash paying tenant. And this property, so based on 15 3-bedroom single-family houses in the last 12 months in a 2-mile radius, the average rent is $1,600 per month versus $1,100 that we were going to get with Section 8. Interesting. Now, if we rent this property out for $1,600, we got a different story, guys. We now have taxes, insurance, property management, vacancy, maintenance, debt service. We're making $400 per month or an 11% return. We went from losing money to now making a great return on our money on this deal, right? Pretty crazy. Now, remember what I mentioned. You probably need around $50,000 to invest in Cincinnati. That is the case on this deal. You need $44,000. Okay, we're going to buy it for $125. We're going to get a loan from a lender for $100,000. You're going to put $44,000 down. That includes the down payment of 20%, plus that also includes $12,000 in renovation costs. So that's where the $40,000 comes from. And you're going to make $400 a month, which gives you around 11% return. Now, Antoine, what do you think about that return? Would you do this deal? Personally, I think the repair cost is going to go up. I think this repair cost could easily go to like $20,000. And now we're at like 9% return on investment, right? The reason why I say that is because when a project is half finished, it probably didn't need 10 grand left. It probably needed a significant amount of money is what I'm thinking. Also, there may be some work that we have to redo. So looking at the photos, it all looks nice, but then we get into it and maybe there was a water intrusion, a leak, a this, a that. And now that property that was a $12,000 good job just turned into a $20,000 job overnight super fast, right? So I like to be a little bit more careful when walking into a project that's halfway done. They might have just put up some walls to cover up some bullshit that they did incorrectly the time before. Okay. Now, a 9 to 10% cash on cash return from buying something on Zillow and Redfin is not a good return. I want to be like at 15 to 20% cash on cash return. Is that possible? Yes. Do you have to look through a needle in the haystack? Yes. Okay. So I would probably make a low ball offer on this one and probably going to be around like 115 or something. That gives me to an 11% return. So I would ask for like $10,000, $15,000 off of this deal for the deal to make sense, because my benchmark is always Martel Turnkey. Okay, so Martel Turnkey, this is essentially one of my companies. We buy houses, renovate them, rent them out, and then sell them on this website. And we sell these houses fully renovated, tenants in place, property management in place, financing in place, insurance in place, title company in place. Everything's in place. they have been fully renovated in the last 90 days. Fully renovated, tenants in place on a current lease, paying the rent. Okay. So the amount of risk just like plummets. Okay. And for that lower amount of risk, you can still make an 8 to 14% cash on cash return with turnkey rental properties for sale on this website. Okay. This is not a sales pitch by any means. It's just showing you what the marketplace is. So that's always in the back of my head. Like if I'm going to go and take risk buying something on Zillow, I don't know who did the work. I don't know the realtor. I don't know the agent. I don't know the contractor. Can I get financing on it? From who? From where? From when? Am I going to get a tenant? How long is it going to take me to get a tenant? What's the rent going to be? There's all these question marks that come up. You see what I'm getting at? So for that risk, I want to be compensated for it. Or else, why would I take my risk on this? Just let some flipper freaking buy the thing and flip it over, right? It doesn't make much sense. So with that in mind, I want you to think about that because that is an option. You can go and buy a turnkey rental and put $20,000 down, $30,000 down. You don't have to spend 50 grand. Right? You don't have to spend $50,000 because the cool thing is if you buy a turnkey rental for 120 grand with no repair costs, we're looking at $30,000 invested, right? But if you buy a $110,000 property with $10,000 in renovations, we're at $38,000. So it's the more turnkey a property is, you don't need any repair costs. So it eliminates that cash needed and you just put the 20% down. So even if it's the same total amount of capital, I hope this makes sense. Even if it's the same total amount of capital needed for the property, it's better if it's more turnkey because you can just get financing with no renovation costs, no more money out of your pocket, even though the total number of cash needed to buy the property and renovate it is the same. It's easier if it's more turnkey for the financing, and hell, lenders love it because there's tenants in place, property management in place. It's way less risk. You can get way better rates than something that's half renovated and half under construction. Okay. So that's my 2 cents on this deal. Let's close that one down and let's look at the next one. So we got Baker turnkey lease through 2025. So for these ones, this one looks nice. 124K fully renovated. We're focusing on properties that are clean, safe, and livable. So this one looks pretty damn good. Lease through 2025. So it's been listed for 73 days. So this one's been listed for a little bit. Leased through 2025. So the thing about being leased through 2025 is that we don't know what the rent is. So the next step here is to reach out to this realtor right here and ask Liv or Trio Realtors what the property is rented out for. How much, is it Section 8? Is it cash? Is there property management in place? Is it being self-managed? Is the tenant paying? Right? So these are all the questions. It doesn't really make sense to analyze the deal without that because if it's leased through 2025, which it is 2025, so who knows? Let's just skip on that one. Next, we got Mickey calling all investor. Just one investor. Long-term tenants in place, flip it or create the open branch. Okay, so same one with this one. We got to reach out to Elad. We got to reach out to Elad. We got to give him a call here and be like, hey, Elad, what's going on with this property? What's it rented out for? Was it recently renovated? Is there any deferred maintenance? Right? So these are the kinds of questions we want to ask. Is there a property management in place? Can I overtake the property manager? Can I connect to the property management company? These are all the questions that I have around reaching out to one of these, some of these properties. So that's pretty interesting. Most of the time when I do this and I find deals, most of them are not already rented out. Most of them are vacant and don't have tenants in place. Okay, here's an interesting one. Live on the auction, blah, 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 blah. So Antoine, would you ever buy an auction property? I would buy an auction property. Have I ever? No, I have never. Why? Because these auction properties are super, super annoying. Okay. Number one, you can't get financing on most of them. Number two, it's like a non-refundable earnest money in most cases. Number three, you can't really walk the property. It's just based on like you going and peeking through the windows and you need somebody local there on the ground. Four, the auctions are always being pushed and changed and the dates are being changed and they're never really set. So you can like do all your homework on this deal, Sycamore, and let's say it's like on auction because it's like the seller hasn't paid their property taxes, right? So it's on auction because the seller hasn't paid their property taxes. The seller can tomorrow pay their property taxes and it gets removed from their freaking auction. Like, how annoying is that? So you can fly out there, walk the property, you can't really walk the property, walk the outside of the property, do all your homework, run all your numbers, be ready to pull the trigger, and then they pull it from the auction. And now it's not for sale anymore, and all that work went to waste. So I probably would stay away if you're a new investor from buying auction properties. It makes sense if you're in like a super, highly competitive marketplace. But if you're not, then I probably would stay away from them. Cincinnati, it's a great market. It's a little bit more pricey in the Midwest. I really, really do like the market. It also is a smaller market. So you have higher priced properties. It's a smaller market, but there's not very many bad neighborhoods of Cincinnati, which I kind of like. It's very clean. It's very safe. It's very suburban, so it's kind of nice like that. The downtown is amazing as well. So if you're looking to invest in Cincinnati, that's kind of how I would do it. If you're looking to buy Section 8 rentals, find some stuff on Zillow, Redfin, and Trulia. Use the Flip System software to analyze them. And then if you want to just skip all the hassle and just buy the turnkey rentals, you can obviously come in here. And even if it's just for a benchmark, just to analyze some deals, but go and look up a deal in Cincinnati on Zillow and then find one on Martell Turnkey and be like, what the hell? Why am I taking the risk of doing this all myself? When instead I could just buy something turnkey. It doesn't really make sense. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, I can always buy turnkey rentals. I don't need to go and do all this work, right? I know it sounds fun to do all the work, but like, you have to be risk compensated for that. You should be making double. So if I can make 10% on cash flow on a turnkey rental in Cincinnati, Ohio, I want to make 20% if I have to buy the house, renovate it, rent it out, find a property manager, contractor, title company, insurance, deal with headaches, deal with timelines, deal with blah, 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 versus just a property that's already rented out, renovated, cash flowing from day one. Thanks for staying until the end of the video. If you want more free content just like this, like and subscribe and check out my free course.